It's day 40 of the self-love social experiment, and I wanted to take you to my favorite place, this park here right on the Hudson River, in the Hudson River Valley, upstate New York, where I live. Isn't it so gorgeous and beautiful? And I wanted to talk a little bit about what I've learned over these last 40 days and what's been challenging, what's been really fun. Well, I think it's been really fun to take everybody on this adventure. I'm going to be going to one of my favorite spots right now, right where I like to kayak when it's a little bit less snowy out. And I wanted to talk about how much I've learned over this experiment. Now, I've always struggled with consistency, so I think the most challenging part of this challenge was to show up every day, regardless of how I felt. And I think that something that's so important that I learned is that it was a really good experiment to do, because we need to infuse our day-to-day with self-love. And we need to infuse our day-to-day with that which brings us peace and joy. Like this beautiful space right here, these birds chirping in the background, this beautiful river where I've done so many prayers, so many meditations. This space is incredibly sacred to me. And I also wanted to talk about how, gosh, I got really busy during this challenge. I started on January 25th, and within 14 days, I was scouted out for a new job. It was very fun. I will always be a shamanic practitioner, and I'm still doing my practice, and I'm still working with clients. And now I am also a matchmaker, which is so fun, especially because the last couple of years I've realized that my shamanic healing work has really helped people and all of my clients to manifest love and to improve their relationships, essentially by healing the soul wounds that have been keeping them stuck in patterns and keeping their life light dim. So it's been such a beautiful, beautiful social experiment to go through that, to help my clients and then be scouted out to help people find love in another way. So it's a really beautiful balance for my clients and my practice and all that I do. And I realized I had so little time in my day. So I really wanted to double down and dig into the self-care practices that I have. I'll show you some of the geese out here. You can hear them. I know you can hear them. So I wanted to chronicle this experience because, wow, I learned so much in having so much on my plate and knowing that it's even more important to have self-love and self-care practices in place, especially when you get overwhelmed. That's when we need them the most. And I also realized that it's really important to maintain our spiritual practices and to really dig into them, especially when we're going through lots of different complicated layers. I had some things come up personally that just showed me that it was so incredibly important to use the tools like soul retrieval, to use the tools like shamanic journeying and meditation to help me balance my mental health and come into alignment really with all of my practices, but double down on them when I needed them the most. All right, now I'm going to take you to my favorite spot. There's usually a kayak launch here, but right now there's not. I'll show this to you. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it. There's usually blue herons who are here. Had some blue herons in my dream last night. I got to visit my grandparents who have since been deceased, and I visited them in a dream last night, overlooking wetlands and hanging out with the blue herons. It was a really beautiful dream. But anyway, I'm on a tangent. I realized how important it is to have those energetic practices in place and to lean on them and to use them even more than ever when you're really, really busy. And I realized how important it is to connect with other people, which was one of the reasons why I decided during this challenge to put on a beautiful event for my community, to essentially share with them the power of those shamanic techniques and what happens when we lose our zest for life, when we lose that energy and that momentum, and how important these ancient practices are to help ground us and get us aligned with who we really are and what we're here to do. A couple years ago, I went through a really incredible heartbreak. And haven't we all been there, right? We've all been there. And realized that the tools that I have, like shamanism and soul retrieval specifically, were so imperative in helping me move forward and then manifest even healthier, happier relationships since. So I'm so excited. My boyfriend grew up near this park, right across the street from where he grew up, and he shared it with me, and now it's one of my favorite places and one of my favorite kayak launching spots right near a waterfall. It's gorgeous up here in the Hudson River Valley. And I wanted to invite you to a beautiful sacred ceremony that we're going to be doing inside of the masterclass, where we're going to be talking about shamanic journeying and soul retrieval and that ancient practice, and how it helps to reclaim your essence, your energy, who you really are, especially after heartbreak. So I hope that you'll join me. You feel free to ask questions below. I have the Eventbrite link there for you so you can join us. But essentially, we're going to be talking about what happens when we go through trauma, how we can dissociate from different aspects of ourselves, and how we can get them back. Because in Indigenous communities, we would have a healer in the community who would help us to reclaim these pieces of our power, our energy, our essence within days of the trauma. And now we go years, decades, lifetimes, generations, reclaiming those aspects of self. And so I wanted to connect my community with more tools to use for healing and share with them how those practices can be incredibly transformative. My background is as a creative arts therapist and psychotherapist, and I left that world once I discovered shamanism because those tools were so much more powerful. So I'm going to be digging into those tools, sharing with you why they're so effective, why these practices have survived hundreds of thousands of years, and I'm really excited. It's called Go From Grief to Glow Up, and how to essentially get your light shining bright again after heartache. So if you resonate, it's a free invitation. I'd love to see you there. And I want to celebrate that we just did 40 days of self-love practices. And I hope that you followed along. I hope that this was inspiring for you. That's why I did it. And also to challenge myself to be more consistent with my own practices and to really show up. And so I'm really excited to be kicking it all off with a final masterclass on Wednesday, March 8th. We're going to be doing that in my Facebook group. Well, the replay will be in the Facebook group, but the call will be on Zoom, so people who aren't on Facebook can also participate. And there's the free invitation below, and I'm just gonna give you a moment just to enjoy this beautiful scene and the power of just being in nature and surrendering and being one with all that is. Sending you so many blessings.